This isn't just a story about football. It's a story about love, loyalty, and a promise made by a little boy that would define a legend. If you believe the beautiful game is about more than just trophies, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications, because this is the story of Steven Gerrard. Our journey starts in Huyton, a tough working-class part of Merseyside just a stone's throw from the hallowed ground of Anfield. It was here on May 30th, 1980, that a boy named Steven George Gerrard was born. Huyton wasn't a place of silver spoons. It was gritty, it was real. And it was in these streets that the foundations of Gerrard's character were laid, resilient, relentless, and infused with a fighting spirit that would one day echo around the world. From the moment he could walk, football was his language, his entire world. You could find him day in, day out on the tarmac of the streets, in the muddy schoolyard, anywhere, with a bit of space and anything that could be kicked. His dream, a dream shared by thousands of kids across Liverpool, was a simple one. But it burned with the fire of 1,000 suns to one day pull on that sacred red shirt, to hear Nam, to the cops sing his name under the blazing lights of Anfield. But a shadow would fall across his young life, an event so tragic it would forever be woven into the fabric of his soul, binding him to Liverpool Football Club in a way no contract ever could. In 1989, he was just 8 years old. The news came shattering his world. His cousin, John Paul Gill Hooley, only 10 years old, was one of the 97 lives tragically lost in the Hillsborough disaster, the youngest victim of that horrific day. The pain became a permanent scar on the Gerrard family. And for young Steven, it became a silent motivation, an unspoken vow he would carry for the rest of his career. He would play for John Paul. He would play for the 96. He would play for the families and the fans who lost everything. His talent, raw and explosive, didn't go unnoticed for long. At just 9 years old, he was spotted by Liverpool's watchful scouts and brought into the club's academy. The dream was taking its first tentative steps towards reality. But the path to glory is never a straight line. In those early years, Gerrard wasn't the star. He was small for his age, struggling with painful growth spurts, and there were whispers among the coaches, doubts about whether he truly had what it took. But what they couldn't see, not yet, was the iron will churning inside that slender frame, a natural-born power just waiting for its moment to be unleashed. And then on November 29th, 1998, that moment arrived. The manager, Gerrard Hooley, turned to his bench. He pointed to an 18-year-old kid. "Get ready." Gerrard was coming on, replacing Vegard Hegem in the dying minutes of a Premier League match against Blackburn Rovers. It was only a handful of minutes on the clock, but for the boy from Huyton, it was a lifetime. The roar of the crowd, the feel of the Anfield turf beneath his boots, it was everything. He had finally breathed the air of Anfield, not as a fan, but as a first-team player. The dream was real. Gerrard's career truly ignited under the guidance of that French manager, Gerrard Hooley. Hooley looked at this young man and saw more than just a talented footballer. He saw the heart of a lion, a burning fire of passion that couldn't be coached. In the 1999 to 2000 season, Gerrard became a more familiar face in the midfield, learning his trade alongside seasoned veterans like Jamie Redknapp and Dietmar Hamann. And then came the first true flash of what was to come. December 5th, 1999, a match against Sheffield Wednesday. Gerrard picks up the ball in the middle of the park. He doesn't look for a simple pass. Instead, with a surge of raw power and audacity, he drives forward, bulldozing past 2 defenders before unleashing an unstoppable strike into the near corner. His first ever goal for Liverpool. Anfield absolutely erupted. It wasn't just a goal. It was a statement. A new star had not just been born. He had announced his arrival with the force of a thunderclap. Gerrard was never the silky, elegant artist on the ball. He was something more visceral, more real. He was the prototype of the modern box-to-box midfielder, immense strength, blistering pace, a ferocious tackle that let opponents know he was there, and of course, those thunder strikes from distance that would become his calling card. He could do it all. Right back, central midfield, attacking mid out on the wing. His versatility and his all-or-nothing fighting spirit made him an instant hero to the fans. The first taste of real glory came in the incredible 2000-2001 season. Under Huyton, Liverpool embarked on a phenomenal run, achieving a historic treble of trophies: the League Cup, the FA Cup, and the UEFA Cup. Gerrard was the engine room, the driving force at the heart of it all. He scored a crucial goal in that wild UEFA Cup final against Alaves, a breathless, chaotic 5-4 victory. At just 21 years old, Steven Gerrard had a trophy cabinet most players could only dream of. He was rightfully named the PFA Young Player of the Year. In October 2003, another monumental moment. Huyton made a decision that would shape the club for a decade. He took the captain's armband from the revered defender Sami Hyypiä and gave it to Gerrard. Huyton said he saw a natural-born leader, someone who could drag the entire team with him through his own force of will. At 23, he was the captain of Liverpool. It was an incredible honor, but it was also a colossal weight to bear. He was no longer just playing for himself. He was now carrying the hopes and dreams of an entire city on his young shoulders. It makes you think, what is it that truly makes a captain? Is it just the armband, or is it something deeper? Let me know in the comments below, what are the qualities you think define a true football leader? Now, if there is one single night that encapsulates the entire career, the legacy, the very essence of Steven Gerrard, it is the night of May 25th, 2005. The place, the Ataturk Olympic Stadium in Istanbul, Turkey. That season, under new manager Rafa Benitez, Liverpool's Champions League journey had been improbable. They weren't favorites, not by a long shot. But with sheer grit, they had battled their way to the final. Their opponent, the mighty AC Milan, a team glittering with legends, Maldini, Nesta, Pirlo, Kaká, Shevchenko. It was David versus Goliath. And it started as an absolute nightmare. In the very first minute, the iconic Paolo Maldini volleyed Milan ahead. The dream was already souring. It got worse. The brilliant Hernan Crespo added 2 more goals before halftime. The scoreboard read 3-0. Down in the dressing room, the silence was deafening. You could see it in their faces. The Liverpool players were broken, soulless. The dream wasn't just vanishing. It had been torn to shreds. But in that abyss of despair, a single flame refused to be extinguished. And the man holding the torch was Captain Steven Gerrard. He looked at his teammates, his voice cutting through the silence. "Keep your heads up," he said. "Let's go out there and give these fans something to be proud of." The second half began. And then, the miracle. 54th minute. A cross comes whipping in from John Arne Rice. Gerrard launches himself into the air, rising above the towering Milan defense. He meets the ball with a glancing header, a thing of pure instinct and desire, guiding it perfectly into the far corner of Dida's net. 3-1. It wasn't just a goal. It was a defibrillator to the heart of the team. Gerrard turns to the traveling Liverpool fans, his arms windmilling, screaming at them, urging them to believe. His eyes were on fire. Just 2 minutes later, the noise is still shaking the stadium when Vladimir Schmeisser lets fly from distance. The ball rockets past Dida. 3-2. The belief is surging back. And then, the 60th minute. Who else? Gerrard bursts into the box, a trademark surging run, and he's brought down by Gennaro Gattuso. Penalty. Xabi Alonso steps up. The weight of the world on his shoulders. Dida saves it. But Alonso is the first to react, smashing the rebound into the roof of the net. 3-3. From the dead. In 6 minutes of pure, beautiful madness, Liverpool had done the impossible. The rest of the match, the agonizing extra time, it was a war of attrition. Goalkeeper Jerzy Dudek became a hero, pulling off that unbelievable physics-defying double save from Shevchenko. It went to penalties. And there, inspired by Dudek's now famous spaghetti legs dance, Liverpool held their nerve. They were victorious. Steven Gerrard, the captain, climbed the steps to the podium of glory and hoisted that magnificent silver trophy into the Istanbul night sky. The image of him kissing that cup is immortal, the absolute pinnacle of an unbelievable career. He had stared into the face of humiliation and led one of the greatest comebacks in the history of sport. That night, he wasn't just Liverpool's captain. He was the king of Europe. This channel is built on legendary stories like that one. Stories of impossible comebacks, of unwavering loyalty, and moments of pure genius. If you never want to miss another one, hit that subscribe button now. You won't regret it. His story didn't stop there. A year later, the 2006 FA Cup Final. The Gerrard Final. Liverpool are trailing West Ham 3-2, the clock ticking into injury time. Seconds left. And again, from the brink of defeat, Gerrard delivers. From over 30 yards out, his body screaming with cramp, he unleashes a volley of such savage perfection, the ball travels like a tracer bullet into the bottom corner. An impossible goal. He forces extra time, and Liverpool, of course, go on to win on penalties. Steven Gerrard had won it all. The Champions League, the UEFA Cup, FA Cups, League Cups. But there was one ghost that haunted him. One obsession, one agonizingly unfulfilled dream, the Premier League title. He was without question one of the best players on the planet. Offers from richer clubs that could all but guarantee him that domestic title came flooding in. The most serious came from Jose Mourinho's powerful Chelsea. And there were moments, he admitted, when he considered leaving. He craved that Premier League medal more than anything. It was a brutal internal war, his own burning ambition versus the profound love he had for his city, his people, his club. In the end, his heart won. He stayed. He couldn't stomach the thought of wearing another team's colors, of celebrating a goal against Liverpool, of betraying the adoration of the fans who saw him as one of their own. His loyalty became the stuff of legend, but it came at a cost. He chose the harder path, the path of the tragic hero. And then came the 2013-2014 season. The dream was closer than ever. Under Brendan Rodgers, with the devastating attack of Suarez, Sturridge, and Sterling, Liverpool played breathtaking football. They were top of the league. With just 3 games to go, the title was finally within their grasp. The entire city was electric with anticipation. Then came the cruelest moment of his entire career. April 27, 2014, a tense, vital match against Chelsea at Anfield. The air was thick with pressure. In the final seconds of the first half, Gerrard, the last man back, takes a simple routine pass. And then he slips. A split second. He loses his footing on the damp turf, and the ball trickles away to Demba Ba, who runs through unopposed to score. The image is seared into the memory of every football fan, Gerrard on his hands and knees pounding the pitch in utter despair. Liverpool lost 2-0, their momentum shattered. Manchester City swooped in and won the league. If ever there was a moment that shows how beautiful, but also how cruel this game can be, this was it. If you know a friend who needs to see a story about getting back up after being knocked down, share this video with them. Fate, in its most twisted form, had delivered its most bitter punchline. The very man who had carried the club on his back for over a decade, the symbol of all their hopes, was the one to make the fatal error. It was a pain no trophy could ever soothe. On May 16, 2015, Steven Gerrard played his final game at Anfield. The emotion inside the stadium was tangible. He walked out onto that pitch through a guard of honor formed by his own teammates and the Crystal Palace players. The entire ground, every single person sang, "You'll never walk alone." But this time it wasn't for the team. It was for him. Their captain. Their hero. Tears streamed down the faces of grown men and women. It was the end of an era. After 17 seasons, 710 appearances, and 186 goals, he left Liverpool. He played a short spell with LA Galaxy in the US before finally hanging up his boots in 2016. But his story with football wasn't over. He quickly moved into coaching, starting where it all began, with Liverpool's youth teams, passing on his fire to a new generation. He then took on the massive challenge of managing Rangers in Scotland. And there, he finally achieved as a manager what had eluded him as a player. He won a league title. In the 2020 to 2021 season, he led Rangers to an invincible season, winning the Scottish Premiership and stopping their bitter rivals Celtic from winning a historic 10 in a row. It was a kind of redemption proof that his leadership translated from the grass to the dugout. The story of Steven Gerrard isn't really about statistics. His legacy lives in the moments of pure, unfiltered emotion. The header in Istanbul. The volley in Cardiff. The countless times he grabbed a game by the scruff of the neck and dragged his team forward by sheer force of will. He wasn't a perfect player. He was a human player. But he was Liverpool's player. The beating heart and roaring soul of the club for the better part of 2 decades. He stood for everything the fans held dear: passion, loyalty, resilience, and the unwavering belief that even in the darkest of nights, a miracle is always, always possible. He never won the Premier League, and that will forever be the bittersweet what if of his incredible story. But maybe, just maybe, that's what makes his legend even more powerful, more human. He is the loyal knight who defended his kingdom until the very end, even without ever wearing the final crown. For the people of Liverpool, Steven Gerrard is more than a legend. He's family. He is Captain Fantastic. He is and will forever be Anfield's eternal son. And that's where this incredible football story concludes. What a journey, right? I'm so eager to hear your thoughts. What moment stood out to you the most? Did this player's struggle resonate with you? Please share all your opinions, your favorite moments, and any questions you have in the comments below. I truly love reading them and building this amazing football community with all of you.